Oh, Michelle said she's feeling awful. That's going around. Was there anybody sick at any of your Christmas stuff?
Not a soul.
Me either. Like no one was sick. Knock on this, whatever this is. But a lot of people I know are saying that everybody was sick.
Hey, Joe.
Michelle.
If hanging on this chair is hurting my leg issue, if I had to stand or lean over, is that possible? I may have to do that because the way that my legs hang, it's hurting. I have pain.
I think your camera is fine. You might just have to step back a second.
Okay. Yeah, I may have to just stand.
Yeah.
It's good. Thank you. So we are on.
And then Trisha's saying, good morning for a few minutes. Well, while she deals with a dog that ate 3 of her mother's socks.
All right. Puppy?
I don't think it's a puppy.
Hey, guys. Welcome into the show before the show. We're getting started at about a couple minutes here. Good morning to you, Michelle and Trisha, Karen and Mike, Greg. Thanks, guys. Liking, subscribing, sharing the show, putting it out there. One and a half.
Yeah, it said their dog was 1.5. So that's definitely still a puppy. Her dogs look like twin doggies.
What's that headline? NASA launches mission to intercept God of Chaos asteroid before it scratches Earth's orbit. Independence Day. Although I'm convinced these movies that come out are prequels to what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, what are they called again, Joe? The lasers on airplanes? Something, they're kind of weapons or...
Yeah, it's
energy. God. It's 3 letters. You guys will help us out. The lasers. Anyway, we learned about that in the 80s with what was the movie? Val Kilmer. The kids were college kids. They were all really, really smart. Wyatt was one of the kids. Or was it Wyatt? No, it wasn't Wyatt.
I'm drawing a complete blank on what you're talking about.
Kent was a really...
EMP, Mike's saying EMP.
Yeah, I don't have that up yet. The EMPs. The energy something. Anyway, that was in the movie. They were building a laser at the college, and then the villain of the movie, the professor, was trying to take it and sell it and using the kids' brains. So we had those.
Oh, wow.
We got to figure out that movie. Can't start the show and do it.
Is it Real Genius?
Real Genius.
That's what Greg said.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I knew you, Greg, honest to God, when I saw your name, I know you'd get it.
Yep.
Real Genius, they created a laser beam, literally, that was transportable. So you could put it on a plane. And what do we have now? We have that on planes. So don't think for a second we're not being teased by movies in advance.
Oh, yeah.
And so many things. I saw that about a month ago and I went, what the fuck? Yeah. I was like, we've got that now.
What's funny is we probably had it back then too.
And we just didn't know it. You know what movie?
Right.
What movie?
So God knows what we have right now.
Well,
right.
Don't go watch Leave the World Behind.
What's that?
It is the most bizarre movie, and it's on Netflix. And it was based on a book, and the producers are Michelle and her.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah,
and it is
Real Genius. Thanks, Ben.
It feels like this is what they're going to do to us. So if you ever want to watch it, keep in mind
who are the stars in the movie.
One was Julia. It was Ethan Hawke.
Oh my God. We watched that.
So you saw it.
It's the worst effing movie I've ever seen.
Right? And
the Obamas apparently had something to do with it.
Yes.
They were the producers.
Okay. I would have never wasted my effing time on that movie had I known the Obamas.
Yep.
But they don't tell you that in the previews.
Well, and I knew
it's a terrible. There's no plot.
Nope.
It's stupid.
The ending is awful.
It's
basically
just like an Obama presidency.
Yeah, it's basically a warning of what's to come.
Well, that's what I thought. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, this is literally what the Obamas want to do to us.
Do not watch it. Do not watch it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the movie again?
Leave the World Behind.
I'm going to have to say, watch that damn thing. Not to make it popular, but to get prepared for what's to come.
Well, that's why
Have you seen it?
I haven't, but
the first like 20, 30 minutes, you're like, okay, it's going to build up to something big.
Yes.
And it never does. And you're just like, what?
I know. That's what David thought, exactly what you're saying. But what I thought was,
it's brutal
through the eyes. But if you watch it differently and you watch it through the eyes of Obamas, it kind of freaks you out, even though you're right. It has no plot, no good ending.
Brutal movie.
Whatever. It's kind of sick. It's a sick movie. And when the profound part is if you know a former president of the United States was involved in this movie. And the thing that bothered me the most is when those things dropped out of the plane and it was death to America.
Yeah.
I mean, and about the Obamas. Yeah.
And the parents didn't know it was the kids. A kid had to decipher it.
Right. The kid had to decipher it. That's exactly
from a
right.
video game.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Take notes, everybody. Take notes.
If you don't know the Obamas produced it, I agree with Vic. It's absolutely the most awful movie you ever see. But if you know who produced it, it's like that's what they want to do to you.
Well, you never know where the show's going to go. And Robert says we are 70 years behind what is available to our government. I completely agree.
Yeah, Robert's fine.
And I think that goes with the whole aspect of spacecraft that we see shuttles flying around, all those types of things.
Yeah, I don't think this is visitors from a different place. This is definitely somebody who has taken up residence in Antarctica and has some, some pretty cool technology.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a brutal movie. Did you bring that up?
I did.
Damn, that was a bad movie. I just saw that about a week ago.
Yeah, we saw it.
What a waste of time.
Night.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I agree with you, though, Joe. People need to watch it if they think Obamas are out to get you. And if you watch that movie, for a doubt they're out to get you.
I mean, that they release movies ahead of time to warn you about what's coming. Well, this is straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse.
Which led us into it with Independence Day, which led us into NASA. Mm-hmm. Says they're trying to intercept the God of Chaos asteroid before it scratches Earth's orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, by the way, before we start the show, we'll do it right now. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's start the show. Hey guys, welcome into the show, canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Glad everybody's back with us. We ended up having a bigger break. We were here last Friday. We had Monday off for Christmas. We were going to do some things yesterday that didn't work out. We apologize if you tried to jump in on that. So we're back today on Wednesday. Tons to talk about as always, as we will. We're in news headlines, politics, cancel culture, business, free-for-all show. We have it all. We're grateful for you guys being a part of the live cast. While most people intake our show after it's live, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. You can catch us on our website all the time, canceltheshow.com. Our library shows are there. It's always good to go back if you can check them out if you have time. Check out the shows, what we talk about, what happens, the previews, the things that we do. A lot of it is evergreen and it predicts the future in some senses. You can also share those shows and help get more circulation out of them. It helps our algorithm. Speaking of that, please go to our different platforms at canceltheshow.com. Like, subscribe, share the shows there. As Lizzie says, you can smash the like button. Let us know. We are grateful for you jumping in, of course, giving us your input during the live portion of this show. Your entertainment, your information, of course, one big happy family. So we are grateful for all of that. We still say Merry Christmas. So thank you again for jumping in today. We haven't talked to you before that. Of course, we come up on the next holiday, which is New Year's. Of course, we pray everybody had a really, really good holiday. We're grateful for you being a part of cancelthisshow.com. Okay, once again, before we get going, I want to say thank you to the advertisers and the sponsors that we have, our partners. If you know of anybody else that wants to jump in with us, people are having some success, please do that. We always say thank you to Amini's, the leading supplier in the traditional and infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. If anybody calls them or clicks on our link to get some quotes or anything, let us know. I'd like to know what the experience was like from that standpoint. I'm fascinated with saunas because they are so great for our body and our health. And when I walked there, I was like, that's a one-person sauna. It was like, yeah, you can have one person up to 7, 8, whatever, right there in your home. Also, Complete Auto Body Repair, fastest growing auto service center in the region. Experienced Real Estate Partners. We'll be talking with Kathy and Steve a little bit later in the show. Also, Route 66 Cannabis. We'll be talking with Ham a little bit later in the show. Solar City STL should be on the show next week. Justin Talivast, of course, making renewable energy part of your life. If you have any questions about solar, give them a call. No strings attached. Or go to canceltheshow.com. Click on partners. We have the numbers. We have a link, literally takes you right there. Of course, Strategic Air Services, where we broadcast live out of in Chesterfield, Missouri area, covering the St. Charles area, St. Louis area, wherever you're coming from. They'll take care of you. Of course, jump in if you're into aviation. They're always looking for pilots, people to work here with the planes. WeQuip, the peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters can go to search for items they need that their neighbors might not have. Literally check them out. Some really cool stuff there that you can rent, or you can put your own items up there to rent. Of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Ben and Marlin, some of the best pizza, burgers, wings, smoked meats served on their outdoor patio. Always ready for a good time there. Okay, we're ready to get started with everything today. If anything happened over the weekend that you want to let us know, of course, we always invite you. You can share and let us know as you share the show as well. Anything from our standpoint, from a podcast standpoint, since we're live, everything good over the weekend, holiday, everything good with you guys?
Everything was great. I had a great Christmas. It's the first time that all of my kids were there with all 3 of their grandmas, because there's my husband's mom, my mom, and a lady that she is one of my best friends in the whole world.
She's my best friend.
She's my best friend. She worked for me over 25 years, and she's the kids' grandma. All 3 of them at the same place, all kids, all 11 grandkids. It was beautiful, beautiful.
Was it for multiple days?
Well, one day only. It was Christmas Eve that everybody is in one place at one time. But I saw kids throughout the weekend, saw grandmas throughout the weekend. But just one day, every single grandkid and every grandma was there.
Yeah, it's interesting when you have the holiday, it's over a weekend, because it seemed like everybody shut down on Friday.
It did. It sure did.
It's like everybody just kind of left early. And then, of course, yesterday it seemed like everybody was still on break. And then you say, we're a live show out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, a national headline show. So our show is based for people all over the country, all over the world. But we can speak for St. Louis dead today.
Yeah, it was dead. You're right. It was dead since Friday. But you know what wasn't dead, which was great? My son-in-law, he got baptized on Christmas Eve, which was huge. So a whole bunch of our family came. It was so really huge cool. At a Christmas Eve service, and the church was packed. It was a beautiful thing.
Joe, anything for you over the weekend?
I just got to spend time with the family, being grateful that everybody's still around this year.
Besides your kidney pain this morning?
Yeah, that too, yeah.
We pray that gets better.
Yeah.
Sure. The 2 guys in the studio, for all of you guys, got a lot of pains going on.
Yeah.
They're not pains, but they have pains.
Try not to be a pain.
Now you have a vagina.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
There you go.
Mine hurts.
Well, I shared a picture on social media with my kids. It was great to spend a lot of time with my kids. I had all 4 of them with me. I love it when I can go to mass with all of them, because it's very difficult, especially as they get older, and you have to keep them there because there's girlfriends and boyfriends, because they all have, they either have a girlfriend, or they have a boyfriend,
right?
So Ava, Drake, and Graham, the family getting older. For people that I know across Michigan and where I've spent time, Oklahoma, and in the St. Louis area. So that was great to catch up with the kids and spend time with them as well. That's for sure.
That's great.
Because everybody's kind of coming and going, and
That's a
all
great
over the
picture
place.
of you guys. That is beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's so much to get into today. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know where to start. There's so much good stuff. So,
yeah, even over Christmas stuff was going on.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the nice compliments on the picture. Okay, I'll talk about it.
Get right.
Why Joe Biden is even being considered a candidate, because he's so lost. Let's start with him being lost on stage from over the weekend. Because as we get that video ready, he started another vacation in the Virgin Islands. He is now vacationing in the Virgin Islands with all of the crap that's going on in this country. It's just a bad look. Pictures of him just literally on his phone, sitting on the beach. Hey, what's up? Looks like any of us. And that's in the midst of the other stuff that's going on. Wow. Check out Joe Biden. Again, lost on stage. They know by now he's going to get lost. Mm-hmm. They know he doesn't know where he is. So why is he allowed to do this?
Louder.
Well, we've got two Democrats coming in to join us tomorrow. Dr. Mark Kaysen, who think he's doing a good job. He literally will tell you tomorrow he's doing a good job. They'll be in studio at 8.
That's just for entertainment purposes, right? Well, he doesn't truly believe that, does he?
I think he does. He says the only problem with Joe is he's just getting a little old, Vic. This country's in a great spot.
Yeah.
And he's not making millions of dollars for that point.
Well, that's interesting.
I was like, anyway, Joe lost again over the weekend. And of course, where is he? He's vacationing. Again, the most vacationed president in the history of the country. And in the midst of the surging immigration, the surging illegal aliens, invasion of America, he's sitting on a Virgin Islands beach. St. Croix, I believe that's where he is. Must be nice to get him in there.
Is that where the new pedophile island's at?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
I don't know. It is a little scary, but it is what it is with Joe Biden. How he is even be considered a viable candidate is beyond me. There's no way in hell. And I'm convinced that something happened over the weekend that made me all of a sudden, I don't think Michelle Obama is going to try to run.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to run. I don't think it's her.
Even though I thought she would be a viable candidate that people would vote for. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That was my wild card. I still think that it's still going to happen. I think that they're going to throw her in last minute, and that's going to...
Well, I think that is their best chance of winning by throwing her in, except for people are waking up because a lot of people know that that's who's talking in Biden's ear. So, and they don't like that. So I don't even know. I mean, that's the crazy thing. We don't even know.
He's losing more. I mean, Trump's lead, according to CNN, is like 6-7 points now in Georgia. There's no way in hell Joe Biden's saying expect 2024 to get crazy. It's going to get wild. It's going to get nasty, especially when we see Joe Biden stumbling around. Once again, you already know what you're going to get from other media sources outside of Cancel This and podcasts like ours. You're not going to get the truth. I mean, Fox News isn't even showing him stumbling around anymore, which is sad. I mean, yeah. I don't want to make this a rip Fox News deal because a lot of what they do we need because there is no other mouthpiece. I mean, Newsmax does their best to get some of this stuff out, but it's a problem when that stuff happens.
Yeah, I agree about Fox. Fox is the best of milquetoast for Republicans because Newsmax is great, OAN is great, but not everybody has that. So I'm not a big fan of Fox, but I agree with you. I would say that's what the majority of Republicans listen to.
Well, we need something. It's all we have right now. And it costs a lot of money to get those messages out, which is why we try to do what we do, which costs a lot of money to do what we try to do. But just get ready because once again, as we know, the headlines that come out, the stories that come out, there's always something that's big, but then it's also attached to something else. Glenn says it right there. Just remember what happened last week. News of the Supreme Court in Colorado trying to take Donald Trump off the ballot. Mm-hmm. Guess what? It was released simultaneously within hours.
Same time.
Within hours.
Yes.
of the Epstein list and the names being released, which is allegedly supposed to happen again in 2024. If people hadn't seen that, as Robert says, it's rinse, repeat.
Yes.
Where will there even be an election? I see more and more stuff getting pumped up when it comes to election. And I'm not sure we'll have a lot in the next 3-4 days of election news coming out before the end of the year. But start 2024, you're going to see a whole bunch of things happening. Those are the things. I mean, media sucks. I hate freaking media and the news that they try to do, because now Nikki Haley's closing the gap on Donald Trump. And I'm like, oh my God.
Just stop it, Nikki.
Just stop trying to make something out of nothing. Greg says Pluto TV has a lot of those channels. OAN, Newsmax, etc. Yeah, we do know that. And then as Paul says, please stop saying that the left is panicking. They have been and always will be 10 steps ahead of the RNC. And they're right. I agree with that. They never see it coming. This time won't be any different. They have a plan. Of course they have a plan, but that plan will not consist of Joe Biden. There's no way in hell.
Right.
No way in hell.
I do think they're panicking, but in the same token, I agree with Paul. They are panicking. Because
who said that they were panicking?
A lot of people are saying it's panicking. Just a lot of people. I don't know that he was saying we are. Everywhere you look, people are saying that the Democrats are panicking. They are, but that's why that they're now maybe 8 steps ahead. They are always 10 steps ahead. And the Republicans sit there with their hands up their butt.
And I wouldn't say that never Biden, like that's never going to happen, because it could happen if we go to war. It could be Biden again, for sure.
It could be Biden. And also, I do think they will push for war. And also, Biden's not going to go
That's
away.
The only way they're going to get it is by going to war.
Biden's going to have to go away.
Well, the Democrats think he has to go away, and Republicans don't care. But he's going to leave there kicking and screaming, or his handlers are, because they can get him to do whatever they want.
Well, tomorrow at 8:10, we're going to talk with Dr. Mark Kaysen and his partner, an African-American man who he does a show with now. We'll see if anything happens in the future here, but they're hardcore Democrats. Mark more so even than his African-American partner.
His African-American partner from Blind City at least makes some sense, where Mark Kaysen makes 0 sense.
But they actually believe, and they're the mouthpiece to show you what people for Joe Biden, because we have a difficult time believing that there could actually be 44% for Joe Biden, considering, but you guys get to see all of the stuff that's going on. Most of America that does not watch canceltheshow.com, they don't get it.
They don't get it.
They don't get it. Even on some other conservative shows. I mean, they do a fine job, good job. They're trying to but they don't dive into the deep stuff that needs to be taken into consideration and studied and brought forward. Yeah, civil war could happen. I don't know. It's interesting to talk about. It's nothing any of us want, but things aren't getting any better. I mean, we have horrible situations at the border. By the way, over the Christmas break holiday weekend, the surge, the invasion didn't stop. It increased. The foremost number one Christmas holiday weekend of invasions into this country occurred. And something else that you should be very concerned about, and don't think for a second that this word doesn't get spread as we talk about, which is why policing and security is so important as a deterrent, because that word spreads very quickly through communities. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. You now have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegals coming here and wanting to be apprehended, because guess what? They're now getting court dates as late as 2029.
Oh, wow. 2029.
Think about that. It's 2023 going into 2024. 5 years of sitting around in this country, if those court dates even happen in the year 2029. That's the other situation that's happening with courts and hospitals and everything else, which is why we won't stop talking about what's happening at the border. There is no greater thing that's happening to this country of concern, of interest, in our humble opinion, than what's happening at the border, because it will affect everything else in our daily life. 2034, according to Jeannie. She heard as late as that. The article that I read was 2029 as late, but I would not be surprised if some of those were going into 2034. But once again, Americans are not going to get pissed off enough to talk to their politicians. Democrats are not going to get to a situation where they swallow their pride and say, you know what, this is bullshit. We're not going to deal with this anymore. We're going to have to vote for a Republican, because Democrats are not about closing the border. The only Democrats that I have heard talk about trying to close the border are those Democrats that are on the border and see it every day. Those are the only ones. And then the only other Democrats, they won't go after what's happening. They will call out Biden in New York and Massachusetts for help, but they're just saying the federal government needs to help us. They won't call out Biden. Biden, you're an idiot. Biden, you're old and decrepit. Biden, you don't get it. Biden, your administration needs to help us. Biden, you guys created this. They won't say that. And of course, their cities are being overrun. It's happening over and over and over again. Mary says, I don't want them to process faster. I want them to stop and staying in Mexico. This is BS. Yeah, of course it is.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, you share the opinion of most others because you see what's happening. All of those things are going on. Again, and of course, when you have these big stories that are released, there's going to be other things that are brought to the table and the attention, like dumbass indictments. Oh, yeah. By the way, and I said it on the show immediately, the Colorado Supreme Court thing won't last.
No.
It's dead. It's done. It's just a headline to try to throw stuff against the wall. It's not going to happen. People go, oh my God, they're going to keep him off the ballot. And then it gets us all riled up for a couple of days. No, it's all crap, and it's going to continue to be crap. And there's going to be more coming in 2024 from the chat line. It's all talk anyway. Yeah. Yeah. How is this current administration not being held accountable and charged with treason is beyond me. Well, when you own the DOJ, the Department of Justice, and the FBI, nothing's going to happen to you.
Yeah, they own all the alphabet soup organizations. They own them all.
7,000 Russians, 35,000 Chinese military-age men came across our border just in the last couple months and weeks. That's why we continue to talk about it, because we're not trying to scare people. We're trying to truth people. This is what's happening. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop until there is a border. Why do you think Trump went after it so hard? Why do you think Trump says that's the number one thing he'll do when he tries to come in here into a presidential situation again, to lock up the border? You've got to stop the bleeding. It's coming. It's not going to stop. And then in the midst of all of that going on, which is crazy, you now have President Xi from China publicly saying 2024 is going to mark basically where China becomes unified, which means they're going to take They're going to take Taiwan. Literally saying it publicly now. It is the right thing to do. We're going to take Taiwan. That could be the war Joe's talking about. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we've already said and we've invested. We're trying to take our microchip. And by the way, we've talked about this, and many of you know this already. We have a massive microchip producing industry there in Taiwan. We're already trying to take that technology out and get it to the United States, which sees we're going to be trying to get out of there ASAP because China's coming. But we also said we would protect, but who knows?
It makes more sense for the China and Taiwan scenario because China's involved. And if China's involved, then it definitely is going to affect our election.
And that, but I do have a feeling, even though, I mean, I see more and more people of color, more and more ethnicities talking from a Republican standpoint. I just wonder if that's going to be the same thing in these communities. Would there be enough votes? Reince Priebus, who I was never a massive fan of, I mean, I guess he was fine. He was the former GOP chair. He was on recently speaking about what's going over the weekend, about what's going to happen in this upcoming election. And here's what Priebus had to say, what he thinks is going to happen, talking to an all liberal panel when it comes to the American voter. This may make you feel good. This is what he thinks is going to happen. Will it happen? Because it's certainly some of the things that we talk about here that we recognize of what's happening. Reince Priebus he's not getting paid by anybody to come out and do things. He's not on some payroll anymore, but he's coming out talking about what he thinks is going to happen. You vaguely remembered his name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remembered it once you said it, and I was not a big fan of him at the time at all.
But
he looks like Pee Wee Herman too.
Well, I mean, I don't. Here it goes. Here's what he had to say, and what do you guys think about this?
I think you're all misreading the electorate. I think that the electorate is not looking for less blood. I think they're looking for more blood. I think that people are more angry about crime than they've ever been before. I think they're more angry about the border, the fentanyl, the sanctuary cities, the boys competing against girls in sports, schools out of control. I think, as I've said before, people are looking for a bigger middle finger this time than they were in 2016, and I think...
So no matter how outrageous...
You're misreading this. People are angry. And on the other side, you know, you got President Biden, who's losing young voters, who's losing black voters. The polling couldn't be worse. And unlike Barack Obama in 2011, Democrats would have walked over glass for Barack Obama. Democrats today, they say 75%, we wish we had a different candidate. So it matters who you're running against, too. And it also matters what the state of the country's in. And this is a perfect storm.
It is a perfect storm. Reince Priebus talking about what's happening. We feel as if that's going to happen. Will it? I don't know. Will it be enough regarding all of the mail-in balloting that's going to occur? And will it be enough if there's even election in 2024? I mean, it's easy for us to throw those things out there, but my God, would you be surprised considering everything that's happened? And his paneling, they just sat there, jaws dropped.
Mm-hmm. Well, because every single thing he said was true. And there was nothing they could say to combat that. Not one thing could they say, unless it was just flat out, you know, dumbassery. But I mean, he's right about everything he said. And I do think it's true. I think there are people that are, I don't know if they're any more mad than they were in 2016. There's just more of us now. Because back in 2016, it was the people who just didn't like Obama. But we didn't even understand as a collective whole how bad Obama was. Now we can see, you know, Obama on steroids with Biden, and people are just PO'd for sure. There's no way this election is that Trump loses. There's no way unless, again, they steal the election. But they're going to have to cheat even harder. And that's why
they would. And that's where the Civil War aspect of everything comes into play, too. Because we hear people talking about that right now. The Civil War aspect that could happen. I heard, because I know we have Kansas City Chiefs fans that are losing their mind right now because all of a sudden the once great Kansas City Chiefs do not look very good anymore. A few weeks ago, Patrick Mahomes was losing his mind on the sideline, yelling and screaming. Andy Reid, who's always quiet, was getting fined in the press box or in the press conference for saying what he said and hating officials. Then the other day, Sunday, what happens? Travis Kelce's losing his mind. He throwing his helmet all over the sidelines. Taylor Swift is up there. And while Taylor and Travis's relationship seems to be at an all-time high, even talking about marriage, the Chiefs are falling apart.
Yeah, they are.
They are. And, you know, people who don't like the Chiefs are like, oh, this is exactly what overbearing Chief fan deserves. If you're one of those people, I don't know. I don't care, whatever. But I was watching with my cousins and my son who hate the Chiefs because of Chiefs fan. They despise the Chiefs.
Oh, do they? I know people
and not because of the
love.
people, but because of how Chiefs fans are. Like in your face and this. And now the Chiefs are not very good.
Yeah.
They're just not good. And they're not winning a Super Bowl. And now you have Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift is the face of the Kansas City Chiefs now.
I was just going to say, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're a Swifties fan at this point.
Well, I guess.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, or they just ignore her, but it's hard to ignore her.
Well, I think that's how you're looked at anyway from everybody else. Oh, you're a Chiefs fan. Oh, you must be a Swiftie.
Well, when she said, hey, we need to get people to vote, and like 45,000 people signed up to vote within hours, I heard her name put in with an article this last weekend that was talking about how she could save the day for Joe Biden because of getting, quote, younger people to vote, 18 to 35.
Yeah.
And that she could, quote, be asked and maybe consider going on the campaign trail for Joe Biden. That's why that's what all that Kansas City Chief talk was about.
Then I hope she's president because she would make a better president than him at this point, if you ask me.
Isn't that the truth? And like Jeannie's saying, her daughter-in-law loves football now because she's a total Swiftie fan. A couple of my daughters.
Kelly Mano started following football because of Taylor Swift.
Correct. So many people.
That's the only reason. And then she found Bosa and the Bosa brothers.
Well, there you go.
And now she loves the 49ers.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Yeah, Glenn says Taylor Swift, the Chiefs Yoko Ono.
Oh
Yoko
my
Ono
gosh, that's a good
gets
comparison.
credit for destroying the Beatles for our
Yeah.
younger listeners who may not know who Yoko Ono is.
Nothing but sheep. You're all sheeps.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good analogy.
But it is. But don't be surprised. All the heavy hitters from the liberal side of things, and the heaviest hitter is Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's also interesting because, you know, we talk about a lot of these. I mean, we talk about politics, we talk about situations. Here's something else that's interesting. Wait a second. Ryan says, why are you talking about a team that is an American hating league that people should be boycotting? I think Ryan said that before. I'm kind of giving you some, it's entertainment, and we're a football nation. Sorry, Ryan. It's the most popular sport in America. It has been, and it will be for a long time.
Well, and I was like
agree.
Ryan. I was totally like Ryan that when the BLM stuff was so big came in, I didn't want to watch it anymore. And there was a couple years I didn't. But at the end of the day, they've stopped doing, and I believe in redemption. And there's got to be something that you want to enjoy. So many people enjoy football. I know I do. And I really missed watching it.
Yeah.
And so now
I just hate the NFL officiating because primetime games are rigged. They are. They're rigged. If you look at point lines, they're rigged. And you look at stupid call. I mean, you get better high school officiating in high school as opposed to the NFL.
Yeah.
Just like rigged. The WWE.
And it says in its bylaws. It's interesting. Dana White, and he wasn't taking a shot at the NFL. He said he would never bet on the NFL because in its bylaws it says we're an entertainment industry, just like the WWE. He's like, if you're going to bet on anything, you bet, and you truly want to look at people in that something that's unadulterated, you look at the UFC fights because those fights are not being rigged. It's interesting. Also, what happened? Tara says we don't watch woke NFL.
And so many people are still like that.
Al Michaels, now he's losing his touch a little bit. Al Michaels, one of the best play-by-play guys in the history of the NFL, in sports in general. He's been taken off the playoff assignment. And you're like, what? Well, who was the one broadcaster who called out Taylor Swift this year during a game? Al Michaels. Al Michaels said, the NFL needs to, and some people may think for him saying this was enough, you know, some sort of insubordination. But he says, yeah, when it comes to our video, it's like you can never let the sideshow, when they were talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, the sideshow become bigger than the main show.
Well, and for many people, that's already happened.
Al Michaels has been taken off of his playoff assignments because he kind of quote ripped Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. Once again, it's very interesting when it comes to media marketing. Taylor Swift, the Democrats, what will the Democrats do? That's why we got into this subject. There is a tie, which is why I went there.
Oh yeah, the NFL is making money hand over fist over Swift. So I mean, for him to talk bad about their God,
do you believe in miracles?
That this is the new NFL God. That's is Taylor
Al Michaels
Swift.
For people who are not sure about that. So the Democrats are clearly going to have people like Taylor Swift come out, right? Unless they have millions and millions and millions of illegals.
I hope she keeps
that are able to vote.
I do. I hope she
don't
hasn't
think
been
she
doing
is.
it, but I will be so disappointed in her. Not that I'm a huge Swiftie fan, but a lot of young people are, because they're not political. You know, a lot of, 14, 15, 16 something year olds, even up to Kelly Mano's age.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think that's the whole point of her even getting involved. And for her to even fall in love with a football player is for all this. This is all set up.
Taylor says Jeannie says Taylor got pissed off about the camera constantly being on her face. And I'd heard that too. She said that.
Yeah.
Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other day she had a perfectly placed Santa's cap with 87 on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked like it was ready for the camera to me.
Me too.
I don't know.
She has to expect that. She has to, how naive.
She knows she's going to be on camera.
Of course she is. I mean, even when she said when
her brand is growing.
It is.
It's still growing thanks to NFL fan as well. It is. She's getting more hype with the NFL than she ever did on her concert tour, because now she has her concert and Eras tour, but she also has the NFL crew. And she's on TV every week.
If the attention was really bugging her that bad, or if she really didn't want it, she would not be sitting where the cameras can see her at the game.
Correct. Absolutely.
You're right. She'd be sitting in the back. Those boxes are big. You can sit in the back.
She could. And she's right up front and center. And if you sit by his mom like she had been doing, come on now. You know the camera's going to be on her. So I don't know that she's that upset about the camera. She might act like it, but that's silly.
But she has cred. She has pull.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I don't know. It's just interesting.
She's as sweet as
Glenn
American
says-
apple pie.
Glenn says, don't forget to get your double jab,
Right.
Kelsey. And Travis Kelce is a shell of himself. There hasn't been any top football player who's lost more of their ability than Travis. I've heard, is it because of Taylor? Is it because of the double jab? Something's going on. Why did he all of a sudden jump into all these commercials right at the last end?
He sold his soul. Now he's paying the piper.
Well, that's true. And he has a podcast. And so I've listened to just a little bit of his podcast.
It's awesome. It's the best podcast in America right now. Or is Rolling with Rogan. He and his brother have, they do it on Wednesdays, and it's super, super popular.
The numbers are really high.
And it jumped up after the Taylor Swift announcement. That's when they became.
Imagine that.
Yeah, well, of course, it's a marketing match made in heaven.
Yes.
What's going on, which is why a marketing match is what the Democrats need to pull Joe Biden through.
Mm-hmm.
But how long can you wait before you bring a new candidate in? How long? What will America accept?
Well, the people who like Trump won't accept it at all, but the Democrats will accept it up till the day before it's allowed.
Okay. I was just going with that.
The day before.
Independence? What about independence? What's their...
Oh, independence.
Yeah.
I think most independents are pretty smart. I would be considered an independent. And I think, Eric is considered an independent. You're probably considered independent.
You're not an independent.
I am an independent because I don't want...
You're not an independent, neither am I.
Yeah.
I am a conservative.
We're conservatives that do a show, a pretty kick-ass show here Monday through Friday.
I would consider myself independent.
Well, I vote Republican because I'm conservative, but I like to label myself as an independent because most of the Republicans that are higher up, they're not for me. They're not for me. So
I know, but you open a whole ball of wax when you say that. You're right. I mean, when you say it like that, I agree.
Yeah, because I used to register as a Republican. I used to pay money to the GOP and all of that. Now they get none of my money.
And that's the problem with Republicans. We need the leadership at the GOP level so that we can get people that are excited about what's going on, so that money gets put in, because right now we don't get the money that we should be getting. It's happening over and over and over again. I hate it.
Yeah.
I despise it.
I do too.
All right. Well, time to check in with our good friends, the Stricks, Kathy Hobig Strick, Steve Strick, from their, there it is. Is that Santa Claus or is that the Santa in the left shoulder?
Our favorite Santa.
Over there.
It's part of the family.
Merry Christmas. We're grateful you guys are jumping back in with us today. Real quick, first of all, because people have grown to like you guys, respect you, learn from you. How were the last 4 days, 4 or 5 days with family? What you guys? Is everything all right?
Nothing.
Is everything all right? It's always all right.
With the Stricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's keeping up.
Was it Jerry Springer show at your house over the holidays?
No, it wasn't bad at all. It's just, we were on vacation that week before, and we had some flight delays coming back. So that was a little bit of a challenge that we had to mess around with. And so moral of the story is we got in on Christmas Eve, morning of Christmas Eve. So we had quite a lot to still catch up on Christmas Eve day. And we had Kayla was sick. Oops, there comes a bug. Kayla was sick the last couple of days of vacation. And I think that bug is now kind of moved through our household a little bit.
Oh, no.
Kind of dragging at this point. But
Well, what happened is our flight got rerouted from Chicago. We were supposed to land in Chicago. It landed in Kansas City late on the 23rd. And of course, the girls were wanting to get home. And I got these text messages while we're on the plane getting rerouted. So I ended up renting a car for us, and we drove home from Kansas City and didn't take our connecting flight. So we got home about 1:00 in the morning on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve. So then the last couple of days have been a blur.
That's what you get for going to Mexico.
That's right.
That's the punishment you get.
It was worth it.
Well, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, and I talk about it, is Christmas with the Cranks. And I don't know if you guys know that movie or not, but Tim Allen was trying to skip Christmas and do his crew. You guys could have skipped Christmas and just stayed in Mexico.
Well, it worked.
Thought about
He
that.
actually tried to talk me into that.
We're men. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, why add the stress?
And luckily we didn't have Christmas at our house, and even the kids were at their dad's that morning. So we had a low key morning, and then they came over around 11:30, and then the party started after that. We had to bounce from house to house, but luckily we were not entertaining. So.
Well, that's good. Well, you guys look great. Glad to see you back. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Is this a kind of a dead period? I was waiting to talk to you guys about this when it came to mortgages, when it came to housing. Does anybody even go look at houses or try to sell houses a week before Christmas up to New Year's and maybe a week after?
Yes, not tons of people, but there definitely are people. Usually the day after or 2 days after, I'm hearing from people. I've seen friends post things that people were calling them on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, asking to go see a house. And then people that too would use them because they didn't want to bug their own realtor. So they would call a different realtor and ask them if they could go show them a house and tell them they didn't have a realtor, and then said, oh, by the way, we actually do, sorry, thanks for showing us the house type thing.
Oh,
so
wow.
you do get a lot of that on holidays, unfortunately, as realtors, but our phones have been a little quiet right
they've
now.
been pretty quiet.
But
how's the morale of your team, Kathy and Steve, for you with mortgages? Because you guys go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can start.
Actually, on ours, most of my people are pretty high morale. A couple of them had record-breaking years this year.
How is that?
That's
great.
It's
that's
hard
great.
to time it, because I tell my agents all the time, when you get into the business, if you can last, that first 3 to 5 years is when you're going to really see an uptick in your business. And several of the people on my team are in that 3 to 5 year mark right now. So they're seeing a lot of repeat business come around. So a couple of them have been on my team for 6 or 7 years, and they're having repeat. So when you have built-in, sorry, your dog just.
I love that.
Look at that little doggy.
That's Steve's dog, by the way, for our viewers who are watching, making a presence. No, I'm sorry. So you were saying?
I don't even know. Some of my team members' morale are fine because of that. So they've had some good years.
Yeah, I mean, we've mortgage is a little bit different. People, they go through their ups and their downs. It's one of those things where when they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's tough for them to realize that it's going to be there, but it's really getting to the point of it being there. So the Fed made an announcement they're going to drop rates a little bit next year. So the morale going into Christmas was a little bit better than it was going into Thanksgiving. But yeah, for the most part, the phones have been pretty quiet. Hopefully we get an uptick here right after the first of the year, and people realize that rates are going to come down. They're where they're at now. They're not going to get worse, and people get off the fence.
So when people are selling, Kathy, what's the word in regards to finding places? What's that experience been like? Because we all know that there's just not a lot of inventory, and there hasn't been the entire year of 2023.
Yeah, no, we've still got people sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right houses to come, but we do expect there's going to be a breakthrough in some of that inventory right after the first of the year. We typically get an uptick by that second week in January of listing calls. And then with that in mind, if you're a buyer and you haven't connected with an agent, you should, because a lot of times those listing calls are scheduled thinking about bringing their house on the market in the next month or two. So we'll know about this inventory before it ever hits the market. And we can sometimes match people to, those withheld listings before they hit public portals. So definitely make sure you're talking to your realtors if you have one. If not, you should be talking to us.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Hopefully we can, help you find some stuff that isn't even on the market yet. This is a great time of the year to take advantage of that, because a lot of people think, I want to start talking to you in January and February for plans to list it in March or April. So that gives us a month or two leeway of knowing about some houses before they hit public portals.
Man, everything always takes longer like with everything, doesn't it? It just seems like, oh, we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that's going to take this month or another month. 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Steve, Megan says, could you please move your left arm?
There you go, Megan.
So she could see the tree.
Actually, I took some pictures for you of some Mexican trees, Megan, not knowing if you were going to be there today or not.
What's a Mexican you mean a Mexican Christmas tree?
Christmas trees, how they were decorated. Yes.
I'd say that they're just Christmas trees in Mexico. I don't know if I refer to them as Mexican Christmas trees.
Yes.
They're beautiful. They were decorated beautifully on the resort. So we'll send those pictures in, but all kinds of different ones. There was one tree that was probably, I don't know, 40 feet tall, and it was made of poinsettias. So just a bunch of pots with, there was iron that was made to make this tree, and then each pot was set inside of it. It was gorgeous.
Hey, what's the current situation with St. Louis area real estate, Kathy? Have you had a chance to look in regards to giving people an update as they give you a call to start looking forward to selling or buying from that standpoint? Are you up to date with figures pretty much all the time on what people can expect?
Yeah, I haven't seen, I didn't look today to see but we were, the last 2 weeks, it was pretty low as far as, a couple hundred houses that were coming on the market compared to 500, 600, 700 a week. So, and that's to be expected that week before on the week of Christmas. But after this week, you'll start seeing an uptick on, and we should be going up pretty much every single week for the rest of the season into the spring and summer season. So definitely put your running shoes on, buyers, because we are going to see more inventory. The rates are dictating everything right now. As soon as the rates go down, the phones are ringing.
Did you guys ever think you'd be in a situation like this where you're like, we're just sitting around waiting on these rates to kickstart the entire business?
I was thinking about it this morning, actually, before the show. It's kind of a weird feeling because I don't think I've ever been in this position to where it's just stalled. The holidays play into it, rates play into it, but we're ready for it to get going. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Do elections or election years ever play into anything?
Typically it does. It does. Who knows what's going to happen this year with the circus that's going on, across the entire country. With Trump not being able to put on certain ballots in states, that to me just says that anything can happen in our country. So I don't know what's going to happen with the election year and mortgage rates and in the housing market. But if I was to guess, they're going to try to drop rates and then take all the credit for it.
Yeah. Can't get much worse than what it was been in 2023. So
no, the last 2 years have been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we have our low point.
I hope we're hitting rock bottom.
And I've been seeing that all over. Lots of articles saying they feel like we hit the low point and on our way back up. So, which means prices are on their way back up for buyers. So, get ready before the bidding war.
It makes sense. That's why I was asking in regards to how it's been for people purchasing a new place, because obviously it's one thing to sell, but you have to have a place to go to.
That's right. But people are getting antsy being in their place. So you're going to see, as long as the rates aren't, a 4% spread, then we're going to see people start to move.
Is that why it's and by the way, give them a call, 314-276-SOLD, 314-27-SOLD, Experience Realty. And that's where I felt like you having what appears to me as a big staff and a close staff and an educated staff, that when things do hit, you guys are ready to go, which is why people should be ready to go with you early on.
Yeah, definitely getting connected early is beneficial. Understanding the process and really understanding the contract and your options for if the market does heat up. Literally, it will happen overnight. So knowing what your options are as a buyer to be prepared ahead of time, so it's not this all of a sudden feel like you rush and you got to make a quick decision and you're unprepared. All of that we've been preaching for years anyway. When the market went crazy, it's really, really important to make sure you know it all ahead of time so that you can move fast.
Gosh, we're getting so many questions.
Be light on your contingencies if the market's, happens to get real hot again.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are people on the chat line are asking, what is the interest rate right now? And what do you think would be a good change? I know we talked about it a little bit last week, that if you're at 5 or 6, it's not as bad as say 8 or 9. So where is it sitting now, and where do you think it's going to go?
So it depends what you look at. I looked this morning and there were sites that had it at 6.6 all the way up to 7.4. Bank rate was right in the middle at 7%. So it really depends on which site that you're looking at. The other thing is predictions for 2024. You can read a bunch of different things, and some economists and some analysts think that it's going to drop to around 6.5%. Some say 6.1%. There was one website that said 4.25%, which I don't think is going to happen. But they're going to drop, and that's the thing, is it's hopefully going to change the mindset of the consumer and saying that, you know what, we're getting into a better market. Let's jump back into the housing market.
And somebody asked what I think is worse, 2008 or
yes. I'm going to tell you right now. I think
by far.
Yeah, I think it's close as far as real estate agents and real estate is concerned. But I would say the main difference between 2023 and 2008 is that we had such an oversupply of houses in 2008, and that was the problem. But over time, that takes care of itself. We eventually sold the houses, like they got sold. Right now, there's nothing to sell, and that's not a problem that gets fixed overnight. So as the economy kind of stabled out in 2009, 2010, 11, 12, we were eating back up that inventory, but we never really caught up with the builders that stopped making houses. And so we're feeling that. We started feeling that in 2020, the lack of the houses that were made in that 10-year period that we did have that real estate bubble. And so then in addition to COVID and everything else, and then you throw rates on top of it, it's been a what do you call it? A knockout. It's been the knockout punch for real estate. Just three things in a row, all on top of each other, has just made real estate a horrible, last couple of years. So I definitely think 23 has outpaced 2008 for bad real estate.
Wow. Kathy Helbig Strict, Steve Strict, Experience Realty Partners, also New American Funding powered by Score Mortgage. Guys, a question for you. Are houses built as many as 100 years ago more well-built than those of today, I guess, in the last 10 years?
It depends.
Yeah.
On the builder?
Well, of course, the builder.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about some builders that take a lot of shortcuts
and technology.
And use shitty
Technology
materials.
has gotten better
Right.
over the years.
That makes sense.
But there's definitely builders that take shortcuts. So as far as quality construction, yes, there was probably more quality construction back in the day. Now it's technology has taken over some things, and definitely you've got a lot of the outsourced laborers and things maybe that don't take as much pride in the house as what somebody did 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Gosh. Anything else from the real estate side, mortgage side right now before I had a couple questions to ask you about when it came to New Age.
Sure. Let's
transition over.
Jump on over to New Age. We were at the new
give us an update
yesterday, checking on that. The build outs getting done. Like the studs are up, the electric's in, the flooring's been ordered, the cabinets are ordered. So we're on our way. What are we about 60 days
45, 60 days out. Yep.
That's exciting. I live right by there too, so I've gone and peeked in the window. So if you have security cameras and this blonde is like peeking,
they're not up yet.
That explains it.
It was me, not a burglar.
I was asked over the weekend a question about Ozempic and what is the age that somebody has to be? Because I was told that there was a person, a mom, and this is a horrible thing, but wanted her daughter to be able to lose weight and got it for her. Is this even possible? And do you have to be at a certain body percentage fat to use your Ozempic-like drugs, which people have had so much success with?
Yes and yes. We have had some parents call into our clinic asking if their child could be prescribed. We personally, our medical staff doesn't want to treat patients that are not 18 years of age or older. I mean, there could be some exception made, I guess, under certain medical stipulations, but that's kind of what our line is. But yes, your doctor can prescribe that for someone that's under 18 years of age. You know, I'm sure it's controversial. It just depends on what their medical issues are, I suppose. If it's somebody that's 10 pounds or 15 pounds overweight, I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of luck getting prescribers to prescribe it. But I mean, if a parent is getting it under their own, like acting like it's for them and then giving it to their child, I'm sure there's that type of thing.
That's something you couldn't even keep track of that.
Right.
Yeah, you can. I mean, once it's in the hands of the actual patient, you can't really control it.
Yeah, because typically they're taking it home and giving it to themselves.
Yeah, of course, and it makes sense. Does somebody have to? And this was something else I was asked over the weekend or told. Do you have to have a certain amount of body fat before you can be prescribed?
Yes, you're supposed to. Not everybody follows that.
Right.
You know, we have a certain minimum body mass index that we abide by. I want to say it's 26,
25 or
26 is what our lowest body mass index is, I believe.
Okay.
And so, but there's people that are taking it that are under it. They're just not getting it through us. They can, unfortunately, are able to get it from not as reputable establishments that don't do the blood draws, that don't abide by the body mass index.
I will say this, though. We did have one particular patient. I think there have been a couple now, but they're thin already, and they were not able to get prescribed the medication, and they were upset about that. And you know, it's one of those things where there has to be a demarcation line of safety and care for the patient versus just weight loss. So if you are one of those people that is thin and your body mass index is not above the threshold, it's a good thing. You know what? You're not considered to be in that category of being able to qualify for the weight loss drug.
I was just curious because I ran into a friend over the holidays, hadn't seen him in probably 11 months. And I was like, Jeff, where's the rest of you?
Yes.
I said, I don't know if you're trying to lose weight or if everything's right, but man, you look great. I was like, and he's like, yeah. He's like, Vic, I've lost 50 pounds. And I went, oh my gosh. He's like, man, it was Ozempic. He's like, it was easy. And I'm like, what?
And how does he feel?
He says he feels great. He has energy. And he said that he had to get off of it because it did its job. And he's like, yeah, I had to buy all new clothes. I feel great. I'm working out. Kind of a kickstart situation. Job, you know, can wear you down. You get into some bad habits when it comes to healthy eating and working out from that standpoint. But he looked great. He feels great. And he said he'd recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
I had to double take. I was like, what? Did not even recognize him
this year too. That was like, whoa. And all of them were like, oh, I'm on Wegovy. Oh, I'm on Ozempic, whatever. I'm like, okay. But, you know, we ran into some people at the pool too. We had this conversation on vacation there was a lady that was into fitness. That was her job. And they brought it up to us because, you know, hearing what we did, we started talking about it. And, you know, people have really hard stances on how they feel about it. And I explained my stance to a fitness person that thinks that you should do the work and, you know, put the hours in and all of that. And my side of it is that I agree that is the best way to do it, but not everybody can get the results that they're trying to get. And some people just can't get started with the motivation because they're too far gone to really stick with it long enough to see any results, and they get discouraged. And, you know, like I told her, I said, I came from a family of, my mother was obese and we have obesity in the family. It's very hard. My mom did not have success I remember used to go to the gym with her all the time, and she just did not have success with trying to watch the diet and work out and get results. So it's had something like this been available to her years ago, I think it would have changed her life. So I hesitate, you know, to pass judgment on people that are taking this as an option, because it can be just a start to get the results, to then get yourself excited about you're seeing the changes. So then I'm going to add changing my eating habits and changing my exercise because I'm seeing results and I'm liking it. So now I'm willing to put more work into it.
Well, I know you guys do so much more there at New Age. Lizzie's been a big fan. I know lots of people are fans. I've been there. So much that you guys can do from that standpoint. I know you guys have other things going on, but before we leave, how's Life Unrestricted going?
It's coming along. We were supposed to try to film an episode in Mexico. That did not happen. We didn't have mics, so it was too hard to try to get the sound. So we're like, we'll just do it when we come back.
Well, I saw a segment that you guys did, and I love this whole idea, and I know it's going to blow up. So we wanted to play it. It was just one episode where you two were talking to each other.
Yes.
What do you feel we need to work on most in our relationship? Wow, go right for the juggler. How can we do this?
Been waiting to talk about this with you.
Man, awesome.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think that we can work on, I know that we can work on, is focusing on each other. We do it, but we don't do it at the level we should, as much as we should. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it has to do with our cell phones. That is the number one.
You think?
I'm taking responsibility, but we both have to take responsibility. So I would say something that we really need to work on is putting the phones down. And the reason being is because there's so much stuff on there. We could be on there all night.
We are on there all night.
I know. So let's work on that.
Every single night on the couch. Yeah. Well, it's an addiction.
It is.
Would you not agree?
I would agree, and that's why we were sitting in these counseling chairs so that we can get
counseling chairs?
Yeah, so we can get past this and work on that. That's just my own opinion.
That's good. That is some good stuff right there. Because phones are an addiction. They are.
They are.
They really are.
Remind people what Life Unrestricted is about. What why you guys started it, what the plan is, and where you guys are going to take it.
No, we just have been talking for people are always like, you guys should put out a podcast because we just have so many things going on in our lives that we have a lot to talk about. And so unfortunately, though, for me in the business that I've been in, just like the fear of being canceled and all that stuff, I've had to hold back a lot of what my thoughts and opinions on things are. And so we just decided as I'm getting later in that career of real estate and we've got other things going that maybe it's time to unrestrict our opinions on things.
Amen. It's real. It's raw.
Real.
It's you guys.
Real life and some real topics. And there's some juicy ones that'll be coming. We got to work our way up to. I'm still like, as I talk about some things.
But that's so freeing, Kathy. That is so freeing. Same with that. I was in a career prior to this that I owned a business. So I had to watch what I said. And as I got later into owning that business, I'm like, I'm going to say what I feel like I need to say and speak truth. And if people get upset about the truth of either in my life or America or politics, it's just so freeing to tell the truth.
Yeah. And we have a lot of people that come to us like looking for mentorship or advice or things like that. So we were like, let's just kind of have fun with it, see where it goes. And then Unrestricted kind of came up because our last name is Strick. So it's spelled a little funky. So if you look for it, it's spelled like our last name with the STRICKTED, unrestricted. Steve's always been more unrestricted. I've been the restricted one.
That's why you guys are a good match, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. So we're a good match. So we'll have some juicy topics to talk about. And then we want to bring some other people on, obviously, and not just be he and I talking to each other all the time. But those previews that you've seen, those are some little cuts from some of the shows that we've started to film already. And once we have enough stacked up, then we'll be releasing it on the typical podcast channels.
Well, we love it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Kathy Helbig Strick, Experience Realty Partners, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. You could also get in contact with Steve as well. And you can also just go to our website, canceltheshow.com. And we've got the links there for you. If you want to give Steve a call too, his number is 314-374-0770 as well. Guys, you're the best. We love it. We'll check back in with you. Any big plans this weekend? Are you guys on? Really? You're on it again? Wait, what's going on?
Well, it's my birthday on New Year's Eve.
Yes. I do remember that. So I get it. You don't have to share your plans. I get it.
We've always planned something.
So you guys have plans. There you go. That's good.
We're heading to Chicago on the 30th. So we've got 2 nights of fun planned. Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
Well, enjoy it. That's right. Stay safe, enjoy it, stay healthy. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for taking time with us again today.
Guys, too. Happy New Year.
Pray for me,
Happy New
everyone.
Year.
We're praying
Will
for
do.
you.
Yeah.
You're in good hands. All right. See you guys. Kathy L. Big Strict, Steve Strict. Always fun to talk with them.
They are just adorable and just a wealth of knowledge on so many topics. I think it's great. And I really did like what she says, as you're in your career and the longer that you go, you do feel like, okay, I can take the risks now. I know what I'm doing is right. And that's great. And it's so freeing.
I did see this the last day.
Yeah. What Greg is saying.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Does it mean anything? I don't know. It's her birthday, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 12, 31. 20.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So anyway, there you go. Okay, that's funny. All right.
The people on the chat like sometimes just make
John says, "Hey, so proud to see a transgender man like Vic having a platform like this." All right, thank you.
John, thank you for making my day. That was really funny.
Yeah, baby.
Woo! So, okay.
Where's RuPaul?
That's right. We're going to just start calling you RuPaul now.
RuPaul Fouls.
He's just jealous because you're so pretty. John thinks you're pretty. Now you have a vagina. He lost his balls and now he has a vagina.
Oh, my God.
Whack off your penis.
This is cancelthisshow.com. That's where we have so much fun here.
We do.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. Okay.
You know what I have to say? Some people, if you came on their chat line and said that, would be mad and they'd get blocked.
Whatever.
We like it. We think it's fun. Come on. And any of you people that think that Vic is a transgender, just type it all in. We'll have a good laugh with that.
No, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I've been called.
He made my day.
That's funny. By the way, we give special thanks to our sponsors. Of course, we were just talking about our partners. Yeah, I'll go in order so I don't freak out Joe without talking to him in advance.
You already freaked him out.
You just do whatever you need to do, man. I can handle it. I promise.
Once again, Kathy L. Big Strict, Steve Strict with Experienced Real Estate Partners. Grateful to have them along as we always do. 314-276-SOLD. And of course, all of our partners, we have links. It's links, canceltheshow.com. You go to the partners page. We have links, take you right to them. Very easy. Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, leading supplier in traditional infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. Check them out. You'll learn a lot about your health. It's so important. I mean, it's not just a luxury item. Also, we've got Solar City STL. People getting interested in solar. They're busy, and they're busy for a reason. They do their own installs. Fabulous company. Once again, you have your links there. Strategic Air Services, where we broadcast live out of in the Chesterfield Valley. Of course, they're always looking for pilots and people interested in aviation and taking care of a lot of people throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area when it comes to traveling and not having to deal with everything that's happening at those airports and TSA. And of course, WeQuip, the peer-to-peer rental marketplace where renters can go to search for items that they need that their neighbors may not have or they can borrow, or you can rent some yourself and try to make a little extra cash on the side. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, some of the best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meat served on their fabulous heated outdoor patio as well. All right, it is, Wednesday, December 27th. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks and Projo in the house. We've also got coming up at 9:30. We've got our Weed Wednesday marijuana segment. Learn a little bit more today from Route 66. All right, Elizabeth. I like your Elizabeth Sparks. I'm still trying to get you.
Well, that's just on YouTube. It's just on everything else. I'm on Lizzie, but on YouTube, every time I switch it to my Lizzie account, it logs itself off.
Oh,
so
I do want to add something though. We now have chat on X, or formerly Twitter. Yeah, there is live chat on X now.
That must have just started.
It did, yeah.
Well, I've been called Victor Victoria in the past as well. I did see that, Donna. Yes, that is a good one. Victor Victoria. Love it. We appreciate it. Since we now do a transgender show.
Yes. This is transgender.
Our transgender Vic. Victor Victoria.
I love that.
Cancel this transgender. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Kelly Mano, I think we're going to have her here Friday again.
Oh, my gosh. The next 2 days are going to be so great.
So, yeah, we've got Kelly Mano. We've got Eric coming in Friday. Tomorrow, we've got Mark Case on. And what's Mark's partner's name again?
I can't remember. But it's called. But the podcast they're on is called Blind City.
Yeah, Blind City. His partner, an African American man who went legally blind, very intelligent man. Said he had to become blind so that he could see. But they're Democrats. I mean, they're for Joe Biden. They're coming into studio with us tomorrow. And I said, well, what kind of topics you want to take about? They're like, whatever your headlines of the day are, we'll all
Okay,
come.
I think that's great.
And I said, okay, I'll put some time into this. We'll see what we can get. But
and then the second
two actual
Democrats,
breathing Democrats
in.
two people who love Joe Biden in the studio.
Right.
Dear
I think
God,
that's great. But then you know what's going to happen at 9?
Do we need security?
Yeah.
We need security. But then who's coming in at 9 is Lena Ford, and she is
not Lena Ford, but
I was
Lena
going to
Ford.
say, hell yeah, I've been wanting to meet her.
To a party last Saturday night.
Yeah. So I mean, tomorrow's just going to be a great.
Although I wouldn't mind
day.
if Lena. Well, I don't know how old's Lena Ford these days.
It doesn't matter.
I think she's 85.
It ain't no big thing. She was. What was that song? Did you play football with Barry Odom? Yes.
She did one with Ozzy Osbourne too.
Yeah. It was more
Close Your Eyes or something like
more
that.
More of a ballad.
Yeah.
Power ballad.
Yeah.
So that's Lita. We have Lena.
Lena. Lena.
Is she a junior in high school? Senior? Do we know?
She is Paula. Her mom's on there. I was going to say she is a sophomore, but maybe she is a junior. So anyway,
maybe her maturity made me think that she was older.
She is mature as a 25-year-old or older.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So mature, and she's going to come in and talk completely opposite of the Blind City that people that are coming in the first hour. She is telling you exactly what is going on in high schools and how bizarre the behavior of some people are.
That's scary to me.
Yes.
I'm just glad that we have a high school kid that's willing to come on and talk about it.
She is one of the most mature young
Credit
ladies.
her parents.
Yeah, well, her mom is on the chat line. That's Paula, and she is the best mama on the planet and has raised 2 beautiful daughters, and her youngest is coming in tomorrow to the studio, and she's not afraid to tell the truth, and I'm so excited.
So we got those 2 coming in tomorrow. Those 2 guests. And then, of course, we told you about Friday, what's happening. And it's our last show before the end of the year. And we'll probably, I don't know, New Year's Day. We'll decide next Tuesday. I don't know. We'll figure that whole situation out.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Joe, did that have video in it or was it just a picture?
There's several slides. One of them might be a video.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't.
Update too. Speaking of Kelly Mano, over the weekend, Eric invited her to his show. That was last Friday.
Yeah.
So she was going out for her birthday because lots of birthdays this time of year. Kelly went and saw Platinum Rock Legends for the first time. For those who don't know or listen nationally, Eric, who joins us on Friday, is also in a rock band. He's like and I joke about this. Was a legitimate rock star. I mean, he traveled the world as a legitimate rock star. So he has a band that he is in called Platinum Rock Legends. So Kelly and her crew and all of her dating, and I got to give her some advice. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't looking for any men Friday night, but I don't know. Would that outfit make a man want to approach you or stay away from you? Kelly's in the far right wearing a Santa outfit.
Mm-hmm. I think she looks adorable.
She does look adorable.
Yeah.
But that's not what I said.
Well, I'm not a man, but I would think any guy that looked at her would think she's absolutely adorable. And that guy would I would think that's really cute, but I'm not a guy. So maybe a guy wouldn't because it's not like slit up the middle with real high heels or something. You know, that's not a slutty Santa.
Like slut claws.
Right. That's not slut claws. That's cute claws.
It looks very difficult to get in and out of. We'll just put it that way.
Well, that too. It is cute. She's cute.
She is cute. And a cute girl is a good thing.
But like in a first grade teacher type of way?
I think she's, well, look at her dancing there. Yes, she is. And she is an educator. So she is that way. That is just adorable.
Yeah.
Now I may be wrong about this, but the 2 doing that together, that might intimidate a guy coming up to her. If she did it by herself, maybe he'd come up to her.
She looks great. She had makeup. Oh, and she was the Kelly Mano had a good time with Platinum Marker Legends.
That's funny.
Yeah, that looks like that'd be a tough one to have to go to the bathroom in. That's for sure.
Oh.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So Kelly went out. She had a great time. She was also happy because I never want to see anybody get fired, but the Francis Howell hockey coach who she had issues with got fired too. So
that was a good video.
She was happy.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely happy about that. That's for sure. Okay. As we were talking, hey, we're on a happy side right now.
Yeah, let's do some happy stuff for a minute.
This is, and this blew my mind, but when I read the article and everything that was attached, but for the first time ever, now here's the hope side before we get back into the hope side of life. For the first time ever, Times Square, New York City, all the billboards, the video billboards everywhere, all over the place, had the story of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus.
Love that.
New York, Times Square. Mm-hmm. Take a look at this video. I believe it has sound with it as well, just to kind of like a little package here.
That gave me goosebumps when I saw that. And there was somebody that was there. There was like a TikTok of it, and the whole Times Square went dark. And so people for a second like freaked out. And then this just popped up.
Yeah, it happened the first week of December.
So beautiful.
And it was put up by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
And while you may not agree with the Mormon theology and everything that kind of goes along with that,
that was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. To think of that happening in Times Square with everything else that goes on there and all the other messages that are there. I saw it. I loved the nativity scene takeover of New York City. And I don't know, it gives hope.
Yes.
Right? Doesn't it? If
Yes.
you're of that mindset that, wow, if that could happen in New York City, it could happen anywhere. And especially as great. And when I say great, I mean as great as it looked. And to have that all the way around I've never been to Times Square in New York City.
Oh, it's very neat.
Yeah, I've been to 3 countries and I haven't been to New York City.
Yes. I shouldn't say it's very neat. It's an experience that you maybe oughtn't take your small child to these days, because our youngest one was quite a bit littler, and like a naked grandma just starts walking right in front of you. I mean, all different kinds of stuff. And my littlest kid was like, my eyes. She said to this day that there was a lady, I kid you not, she was 85 years old and completely naked, just walking around. I mean, it's a shit show. It's a fun shit show, but don't expect it to be clean. I mean, it was dirty. Like several years ago, it was really nice, but a few years back we went, it's dirty. There's police there with, everywhere where they have to be, and it's dirty, but I mean, it's entertaining. I'll give you that.
It's New York now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was just glad that we had that video. So that's just fantastic that something like that could legitimately happen.
Yeah, I loved that.
Okay. Now back to some other more serious issues. Hey, we've been talking about the politics and the things of, you know who's been quiet as of late, or I haven't heard as much with him, and if he's going to run, is JFK Jr.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet.
And I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know. And a lot of people like the person that you don't know as much about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't heard tons of people come on here and rip him. They're like, just remember, he's a Democrat.
Correct. He says
at the end of the day,
things.
He's a Democrat. Now, he says things that get people excited, but it's the other reason why I feel as if there is another candidate. They were trying to wait as long as they could with Biden, because the more somebody's out there, the more dirt you can get on them.
Mm-hmm.
The more you can find a reason to tear them down, because that's what humans do and that's what the society does. Or if it's warranted, your track record comes out. JFK Jr. If there wasn't anything that tells you who JFK Jr. is.
You mean RFK?
I mean, RFK Jr.
There you go. I just thought maybe you knew something that he was resurrected from the dead.
No, my God, no. That might be a good thing.
Wouldn't that be good? Because a lot of people think he's still alive,
Oh, no. Oh my gosh.
They do.
I've heard that too.
I know. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I know a lot of people think he's in Trump's basement. So I don't know.
Well, this is what I felt very, very interesting. Listen to this interview he did about who he would choose.
Okay.
And he literally, I'm just going to tell you right now, he runs away from the question.
Oh.
And I lost whatever respect that I had for him after he had to deal with this.
Which current or recent Supreme Court justice is closest to your ideas or what you would appoint?
I couldn't answer that.
Oh, no.
I would say, I'm going to appoint judges who reflect my values.
But what are those values? Because President Trump has a list. To his credit, here are the 65 people. I mean, would it be more like Kagan or more like Clarence Thomas?
It would. I don't know. I wouldn't answer that.
But respectfully, you're running for president. The voters, that's a huge issue for voters,
but
especially when it comes to Second Amendment rights.
So he is running as an independent. Yeah, I get it. Just remember, once again, because we had people tell us how great he is, refused to tell you the type of people that he would put on the Supreme Court.
That was disappointing.
So just remember what you're dealing with, as opposed to a Donald Trump who's like, listen, I got nothing to hide. Here's who I would put. This is me. This is what I'm doing. Black and white. Attack me, come after me, but I'm going to do what's right for America.
Yeah, that was disappointing, because I really kind of liked him. I'm not saying I would vote for him.
Paul calls him a coward. Jeannie says, wow.
That was a very cowardly
tragic.
thing to do.
These are words coming from the chat line right now.
Yeah, that's very disappointing.
And I felt it moved me. I was like, I didn't think he had anything to hide. He's trying to show himself as, I'll take my shirt off and I've got nothing to hide here. I'll do push-ups. And well, who would you put on the Supreme Court? I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he's running independent. He's not trying to look one way or the other. He's not trying to have the image of going one way or the other, because then he's not running as an independent. So if he gives up his cards right now, then one side or the other is going to, make their decision.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But here's the issue. Do you not feel as if that comes across in a coward manner?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the
however,
problem.
if you're playing poker, it's a smart move.
I'm an independent, but the voters aren't playing poker.
You know what?
No, I get it.
You know what he said?
Voters are like, we don't want a politician playing poker. We want all the cards on the table.
Correct. And Lori is saying,
I call you RFK Jr.
Yeah, he won't answer the questions like that until he's officially on the ballot.
Well, in the same respect, I mean, if you've got a good hand like Trump, you're just going to show it. Like, all right, beat this.
Yeah, well, it's good for him. There are people, but you also open yourself up for attack. And that's my issue with RFK on this whole situation, is the fact that it's like, oh man, it's easy, but eventually you're going to have to say something. And if you don't, you're running from the questions. What else? Who are you? You're really a liberal Democrat, but you don't want to say that because you want the votes of the Republicans. But if you get voted into office, then you'll show your true colors. And then the voters are the ones who get scammed.
Yeah, that's a shame. And Paul is saying, are there any independent judges? They're Democrats or Republicans. I don't know if there
aren't. That's the problem.
So that is a problem if he didn't say it. That is a problem. I mean, I understand what Lori's saying, that you want to wait until you're on the ballot, but like you said, then you get screwed because you are like, okay, we don't know what he thinks. And he is definitely a Democrat. He's not a conservative or a Republican. People just liked him because of his stance on COVID.
Yeah.
That's why they like him.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely like him from that standpoint. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be great to see him put into a position, if Trump was the president, where he could be, a director of a
Correct.
health department or a medical department. God knows we had the worst with Fauci. Holy
And I
crap.
guess he could still do that if Trump was elected and he put him in charge of doing what Mike Pence did, who failed miserably, and he put RFK there. That might be a good thing, because if RFK was there, Fauci wouldn't even have been there every day.
No, that's true.
So that would have been good, but that's it.
Glenn says he's an outsider. I guess that's
outsider.
where maybe some of the appeal with RFK Jr. would come.
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, wait a second. We kind of like this guy. Let's see more of what he has. But that happens whenever there's somebody new. Usually it's like there's a honeymoon period. It's like, oh, we need to find out. We need to do what we can do and find out, because, that's what can happen. It is interesting too. Another story that just came out today, and this goes to show, don't believe all the headlines. I've told my friends this before too. Now, just coming out today, the Michigan Supreme Court said, we're not going to put that on a ballot. We're not going to even attempt to say that Donald Trump can't be on our ballots for president. This was Colorado, which is a crazy state as it is. 7 hardcore liberals on their Supreme Court. And even 3 of them said no. But 4 just to get a headline, to get headlines.
Correct. That's exactly.
So the Michigan Supreme Court, this coming out just it came out in the last 30 minutes or so, but they said they rejected any attempt to remove Donald Trump from the ballot once he is the presidential nominee from the Republican Party.
Yeah.
There were people who were telling me this was going to happen in Michigan, Drew Collins. There were people telling me that this is going to happen in Colorado. And I said, just wait till the Supreme Court gets it. Right. Then, of course, he went on to something else. It is interesting.
Is wrong often.
What?
Almost always wrong.
So, it's one of those headlines. Will it get national headlines today? I don't know. It's just sad that there are people who's, still think that, oh, this is going to happen in Colorado. Let's take Trump off the ballot. It's not happening. Not even happening. Not even happening. Not even happening. What was this? No one would have even given a crap about him until the Democrats started smearing him. Oh, RFK Jr. Coming from Paul. Probably because he went after one of their talking points. And if you go after the Democrats at anything, you'll be put in your place. Ask Tulsi Gabbard, who ruined the presidential career of Kamala Harris on stage, her presidential bid. And then, of course, Tulsi lost all of her support because she destroyed Kamala on stage. Don't ever forget about that. That's for sure. Those are the things that are happening. We've got another massive issue that's going on. American troops and ships in the Red Sea being attacked by the Houthis. They're Iran-backed, by the way. They're literally firing rockets and drones at American ships. This is happening. And for the first time, Navy ships are using anti-ship ballistic missiles to fight Iran-backed Houthis in the Red Sea. And American service members now getting hit. We have a service member who was hit. This is going on. This can't happen. America is definitely into this now. And those are some of the things that we're starting to get. So it's one of those things that we wanted to bring up. It wasn't as a matter of we were trying to get into a deep dive conversation today.
Right.
But it also goes to show they're backed by Iran.
Yes.
They're back. We try to just cover the facts, cover all the facts, do what we can, and, bring those things out. This is cancelthisshow.com. Just a minute or two. We'll have our good friend Ham Hamra from Route 66. He'll start a line as we have our Weed Wednesday segment. We'll be checking in with all of those things that are going on. And by the way, we do appreciate you jumping in. We were talking about our schedule for the week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. as we continue to cover up with covering those stories and things that are happening all over the world. But that is one of those things that just came out when we give you some of the headlines that are happening. By the way, major retailers are being told in California that they're going to be fined over and over again if they don't have gender neutral kids toy sections. Once again, major retailers being told if they don't have a gender neutral kids toy section, that they're going to be fined by their state. And California is leading the way from that standpoint right now with those things coming out. I never thought we'd get to that point, but it's California stores is where it's going on. And what they mean is it's stores with 500 employees or more. And that kicks in January 1st. Another headline, if you haven't checked yet with your tax people, check out, my friend, Bruce Thompson. He's over at Liberty Tax. New IRS tax brackets are starting in 2024 if you haven't looked yet. Didn't know if you guys knew that. Check out your tax brackets. Give your accountants a call. We try to keep you up to date on everything else there. I saw that come out yesterday as well. So that might have gone under the radar, especially with the holidays being where they are right now. And you can just give me a heads up, Joe, whenever you're ready to rock and roll, my friend. Okay, we'll go from that standpoint. Well, it's Wednesday. It's a Weed Wednesday, and we check in with our good friend, the wealth of knowledge, super successful businessman, and our friend from Cancel This, Ham. Ham, good morning. Welcome in for our Weed Wednesday segment. Merry Christmas. I know you're ready for the new year as well. We've been talking to people about how was Christmas for your daughters?
It was good. I think they were happy.
I bet they would be too from that standpoint. What about from a business standpoint? Because I was curious to ask you, and I didn't get a chance last week. As the holidays come in and then, people come back from school, people get off for the holidays, great gifts, things of that nature. I was at a party on Saturday night, or not Saturday night. I keep getting confused for the weekend. Christmas night. My gosh.
Christmas night.
That was 2 nights ago, right?
Just 2 nights ago.
Two nights ago.
Sunday.
They had, one of the college students had your nighttime gummies. I was like, oh my God, you finally went to Route 66 because they got introduced. They got introduced by the Cubana. So I'd had a Cubana, so I gave it to them. They loved it, said this is the best product that we have. So then they came into the store and they got the nighttime gummies and they absolutely love them.
I love hearing that. It's I was at this new place that I joined last night, really more for networking. Which we could talk about if you guys want.
Sure.
It's a cool place here in St. Louis. It's called Carbon. And some of the people that were there, members, they were like, hey, I know who you are. I just recently bought some Ostara products. And I just had this like chuckling moment because I had just watched the night before American Gangster. And not that I'm a gangster or anything, but it reminded me.
You're a financial gangster.
Yeah. No, that's not where I'm going with this. But it reminded me of the line Denzel Washington says to Cuba Gooding Jr. He's like, hey, if you want to sell my product, it's going to have to stay Blue Magic. But if you're gonna mess with it, you can't call it Blue Magic, right? So I just had that Blue Magic moment where like it's Ostara and it's starting to become more of a household name.
The Ostara name.
The Ostara name.
Because of Route 66.
Correct.
And explain that again for our listeners and viewers, the connection, how you kind of work that, because Ostara is everywhere. And it's in multiple stores.
Correct. So Ostara is an in-house product that we created. So we have a line of different Ostara products from like Star Tabs to our flour joints, obviously, and our gummy line and vapes. And so obviously we sell to ourselves because we have 5 dispensaries, but we sell to 130, I believe now, 125 to 130 other dispensaries. So us being a full vertical, we can sell retail and wholesale. And so, like I've always said on the show, we support all dispensaries, right? Because it's a very small industry. So if you're not near one of our dispensaries and you happen to be, let's say in Cape Girardeau or in Kansas City, and you walk into a dispensary there, more than likely they'll have the Ostara product. And if they don't, it's okay for you to ask for it, right? And say, hey, do you carry this or would you mind carrying it? Because that's how we carry other products. When we see enough demand from consumers coming in and asking for a certain type of edible or a vape, then we're like, okay, well, the consumer is demanding it, so it must be a product that we need to carry. And so that's how we do it. But it's really cool to hear so many people using it. And our Rest Gummy was really designed for people that want a good night's sleep. And that's really has taken off this past year.
Somebody and we got tons of good questions. And I love it whenever you come in, people start asking questions. Can a gummy really put you to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah. And
now with that, it's not like a UFC like choco type sleep, right? It's not like you take it and then boom, you're on the ground. You gotta have bubble wrap around your head. It's not like that. So you take the Ostara Rest gummy, and it's really designed, the whole indica in the couch feel, right? This is at a higher level, and it's really designed. I take it 30 minutes prior I go to bed, and by the time you brush your teeth and wash your face or whatever everyone's ritual is, watch TV. Then I lay down and I start to get super relaxed, and it's really designed to shut your brain down from for those that are on the go, right? If you're always like if you're a busy parent or your teachers, I mean, their minds are always running, right? Mm-hmm. In the finance business, your mind's always running, so it just kind of calms you down. And then at some point when it kicks in, at least for me, so I can only speak of what it does for me, you just feel just relaxed, like you just came out of the spa or you're at the spa. So you have this moment, and then next thing you know, you're asleep, but you have like a very deep sleep. It's uninterrupted, right? And I love it. It works for me. But I always throw a disclosure. If you're going to go out and have a good time with your friends, and you're going to stay out till 1 a.m, and then you've got let's say a 7 a.m. meeting or an 8 a.m. And I know some people out there, they can do it. I'm not built like that, right? Like mm-hmm. I can't like roll in at 2 and then be like at a meeting at 7. Don't take it, mm-hmm. because you're going to feel a little groggy. You got to, usually if you read the back of the package, I mean, it's like an 8-hour type feel, right? But I take it because I'm taking it 30 minutes before. It's happening during. By the time I wake up, have my coffee. Yeah.
Could you imagine if you went in and you got a massage and you took the gummy while you have a massage, as long as you have a driver, and then you went home?
Well, someone's gonna have to come wake you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, I would not recommend it during a massage. You should probably take a Rise gummy, because that's a
stimulate,
and it stimulates the feeling of the massage. But if you take that, next thing you know, you wake up in a body bag. You're like, no, I was just passed out. I don't know what happened.
Roll that person right out of the store. Yeah. Lori says, hey, by the way, feather in my cap, I was the first person to go into the St. Peter store, use the discount, and say that I heard about on cancelthisshow.com.
Oh, thank you
so much. That's cool, Lori. And then Jeannie says, I'm not quite sure what
she gangstered. We were talking about earlier. You guys were talking about being
gangstered into Route 66 last night, just in case she got snowed in this week to get her product. So
I love it.
And another one, Lori said she went in to get her mother-in-law some gummies.
So that's actually become a common thing. Like, I get a lot of people that say it's from my parents, and sometimes I have to chuckle. I'm like, is it really for your parents, or are you just saying it's for your parents because it's for you? But yes, a lot of people are getting it for their parents. And our based on your viewers and your listeners, our Winsville location has had the biggest pop from this show. A lot of people say that they've heard it. So it's interesting. I just want to give you guys some positive feedback. So
no, we appreciate it. Thank
you for all those that are supporting us and going into the Winsville location, and also now St. Peter's. Seems like that's just where we're more of our demographic of your viewers are.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
thank
you. Pro Joe loves your Winsville location.
And Joe, you only get it's like when you look at something on Instagram, like if you go there 100 times, we still count you as one new customer. So I did double check, because they said there was a lot, and I was like, well, let me just double check. If
Is it
Joe.
just Joe?
Is it just Joe that's
well,
there?
What you've done since you've been on, you've helped educate the viewers and the listeners, because some listeners will jump in and viewers are like, listen, there's varying degrees of strengths when it comes to gummies, and these people start to be educated by yourself and Patrick when Patrick comes in as well.
Yeah, it's the education process is a big deal. Now you got to remember, like in high school and college, and even after college, I never used cannabis, right? Mm-hmm. So like for me to get into the business, I had to get educated, because I wanted to make sure. I've always believed in plant-based medicine, right? That's just like a big deal to me versus big pharma.
And so do we.
But I also want to know what it does. And you want to talk about a guy that was nervous taking a gummy for the first time. It's this guy. And of course, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this headphones.
Did you videotape you?
Wow. No, I didn't videotape, but okay. I will tell you my first true gummy story. It was not a good one. It was in Vegas. A good friend of mine who only takes gummies. I met him up there. He's my mentor actually too. So it's himself, his wife, and his kids, and me. And we had rented like this 2-bedroom place at the Bellagio. So him and his wife were staying on one side, I was staying on the other side, and then kids had their own room because I was visiting them, and they were like transitioning, so they didn't have their place yet in Vegas. So he gives me a gummy. I don't ask any questions. It's like literally the size of a Tic Tac, but it's in Vegas, and it was kind of like that sticky gummy. It's not.
So
like,
you ate the full one.
Correct. He just gave it to me. He goes, "Oh, these are great. You should try it, and it's just going to make you feel great all night. You don't need to drink." Well, I take the gummy, and we were at a restaurant called Yellowtail. It's a sushi place, and if anyone's ever had sushi, I mean, sushi, it's not like you order a large pizza and you're full. Like you just have to order many pieces. So
yes,
it kind of kicked in, and I'm like, I'm just ordering things, just ordering and ordering and ordering. So like the ride at first is like it's like going up the roller coaster, but I didn't know what he had given me, and my body wasn't used to it, and I should have taken a half. So there's a lot of other things I did wrong. Well, then it hit me, and I was like, oh my goodness, like everything felt like it was moving around me, not like in the spins way, but I felt like I was floating. So I excused myself and I said, hey, buddy, I have to go to the room. Like, here's my card. Like, I got dinner because I feel like I ordered everything. And he was like, no, I got it. And I don't really remember that part as much. But when I was walking to my room, I felt like the slot machines were following me, right?
Oh my gosh.
And it was part of a little bit of paranoia. Again, never had taken a gummy.
Yeah, first time.
Didn't know my dosages. So that's why when we come on the show, we try to educate, like start small, take a half, be with a friend. Like, there's a lot of things. And not all gummies do that. It's just this particular one.
What kind of gummy was it?
I think it was like a 20 milligram sativa, which I don't even take 20 today. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that's not what my body can handle. All I know is the way I was holding on to the bed. I thought the bed was floating. So I was holding on to the sides of the mattress, trying to keep the bed down. And it was like a 8-hour roller coaster ride of hell.
Oh my God. Donald. Hey, when it comes to gummies, do you guys list all the products that are in a gummy or, for uneducated?
Yes, everything's listed.
Yeah, that's what I figured when I looked at the bottle.
And everything gets tested. So that's a great question. So everything that we produce goes through a testing lab. And then after it's been cleared, then we put it on the shelves.
Okay.
So each batch, we do that.
Okay, well, that certainly makes sense. One of the tons of good stuff and questions today is always with you. Talking with Hamra, he is the owner of Route 66. By the way, Route 66 Cannabis, there are 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. The newest one is in De Pere. That's on Manchester near 270. You've got Dogtown, South Grand, St. Peters, and of course, Wentzville, which we were just talking about. I saw a study about this too, and I was asked to ask you, have you heard any information or studies yet, or Patrick, regarding cannabis helping people who are dealing with Parkinson because of reducing maybe inflammation and helping with pain?
So yes, we've heard a lot, and we do have a lot of customers that come in there and they're buying it for a loved one. So there's many positive things about cannabis, and I think we're just in the beginning of finding out of all the research and development, right? And so that's the part that excites me, but it also scares me a little bit because I can see, like, if this thing goes on a national level, these big drug companies are going to come in and find a way to squeeze. We're a small business, and that's just the way I plan to stay, right? I'm not trying to turn this into a national company. The only thing that I would like to go on a national level is creating like the creams that there's already companies that do it, but really for pain, for arthritis, or like people that have joint pain, working out. That's something that you could take on a national level, but only with the CBD right now, right? You can't put THC. You could put THC, but you can only sell in Missouri. So those are like how I think, but I don't want to own like 10,000 stores.
Yeah.
It's just, it takes the feel away from it. And that's why I got out of corporate America. Because at first I was having fun, and then by the end, I grayed out, and it's just a lot of stress, and for what?
I can't remember, Ham. Do you guys have the pain creams with CBD or other people's products being sold in your stores right now?
We do. We have different pain creams with different ratios that have CBD and THC, and I use it. I use it on my right on my elbow.
What's your experience with it? Because I'm going to tell the story to people of something that happened with me last night, and I'm standing today, and yes, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. I used a cream, and And I think it's because of the cream that I'm even standing today.
Yeah, it works. It does. It absolutely works.
So how do you use the cream? Do you use it kind of like the old Ben Gay stuff before activity? Or?
So you could use it in any way you want. They have different scents to them. So it doesn't, thank God it doesn't smell like Ben Gay, because I have this whole like phobia of Ben Gay and Vicks. For anyone that knows me, it's because my mom would put Vicks on me when I was sick. And it's just like, then it, well, it's true. And when you're a foreign kid and you smell like Vicks, you go to school and you got a sweater vest and you've got a bowl cut like from Dumb and Dumber. I mean, you're just destined to get beat up. And back then, getting beat up in school was like a cool thing. It was common. I mean, if the viewers, are my age or a little older, you remember 3 o'clock outside, right? I mean, you can't say that now. I mean, there's like the SWAT teams out there and there's a helicopter in there. No one's fighting outside at 3 o'clock. So, but if you're in a sweater vest, bowl cut, and you smell like Vicks, you're definitely getting beat up, which I guess I deserved it, right? But it doesn't smell like that. But I will tell you, it works. It like when I use it on my elbow and my forearm, it's kind of got that tingly, cool feeling. It feels like an icy hot almost. But you don't get high from it. So, but it does work for me personally. And there's different ratios. There's a 500 milligram. There's a 1,000.
I don't even know what to use.
Do you carry the Marla Jean brand?
No, they don't.
I don't think so.
No, they don't. And the Marla Jean brand.
And it's still a new thing that's happening. So
yeah, the Marla Jean brand was a friend of ours, a former producer. He and his wife make it. And I had some extra and I used it last night. I had a bad knee. I went out thinking I was young again, trying to shock my body. Did a big sprint workout yesterday. Then we went bowling. And
there you go,
right
buddy, you're not a spring chicken. No, I mean, you're sprinting and bowling.
I was literally like this last night at 9 o'clock. I could not move the front part of my shin right underneath the knee. And the whole shin, I'm like, literally, I rolled over in bed at about 3 o'clock and I still felt the pain. I was like, damn, I'm screwed tomorrow. Well, before I went to bed, I rubbed a bunch of this cream on. I only iced twice after. So it was ice twice and then the cream. And I woke up this morning, I got out of bed and I'm walking around and if I was even standing yesterday, I was in pain.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
And that's the only thing I did was the CBD oil.
Yeah, you got to, if it's got CBD, THC, I tell everyone just please, so I put maybe a little glob of it, right? Because I'm carrying a big area that I'm trying to relieve pain. But you really need to be careful with after you use it, wash your hands really good with soap. Because if you get anywhere near your face, it could irritate your eye or your face. So it's a little different than Vicks, right? So I'm sure Vicks probably does a little bit of the same thing if it gets near your eye. So just be careful. It's kind of like hot sauce, you don't want it near your face.
Well, I think that'd be a great product because I'm starting to be a believer now going, holy crap, this stuff works.
Yeah, it's
somebody else said that they use it right before they go golfing and it helps with his arm, his forearm and elbow.
Yeah. And a lot of people have tennis elbows. So that's in golfing, depending on which way you're swinging, it can affect your.
Then somebody said bowling kills you if you don't do it all the time.
Yeah, especially after a sprint, I would imagine.
What are you doing sprinting? What are you trying out for the Rams? I mean, they're not even saying
no, it was a work. I'm just trying to do some old stuff. Ham, I ate a lot. I hadn't been working out as much.
That was a guilt sprint.
It was a guilt sprint. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
no doubt. Any other updates or things from the business before we let you get going? We're grateful you were able to get into studio.
No, and I'm 100% better because I know last week.
You didn't feel good last week.
Oh man!
And thank you for joining us, even though you did not feel great.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. It's kind of embarrassing when you're sitting there with a box of tissues. I was like, I'd rather have this at home than be in the studio. And
you did a great job.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't want to get it.
Oh no, Megan told me I used 2,000 milligrams.
Wow. Yeah, that's baller status. 2,000. I use 1,000. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Feel
okay,
better.
I'm like, I don't know. I just got an update.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's really good. So yes, to give you an update. So this was the first year for the cannabis industry to be wrecked during the holidays, and I got to tell you, it's crazy. I didn't realize how popular it really was for the holiday time when it came to gift giving.
Oh yeah, that's what this was about. This guy got a gift.
So it's unbelievable. We had 2,700 customers in a day and a half because we closed early on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Right. So I mean, that's just unheard of. We don't ever have that kind of we appreciate it. We want it. We would love to have it all the time. We just have to staff for it more if we knew that was going to happen. Now we were very well staffed, but it was interesting for me from the data perspective to see how many people actually look at that as also a great way to introduce someone to the products, or that they're just, and we had a lot of specials and so did a lot of dispensaries. So it was an interesting stat because I think last year we were not even anywhere near that. It might have been like 700 or something.
Yeah, but people are starting to get to know your products and they try it and then they get to know the word and they're like, oh yeah, and it works and it's good and they've got great staff and they've got knowledgeable people, and that's what it's about. I mean, that nobody's gonna beat you when it comes to marketing. That's for sure.
Well, we're doing our best. I think our latest, and I appreciate that. I think our latest update to kind of give you guys is our next move. We like to do a drive-through at the Dogtown location, because our Dogtown location was built for a drive-through. It was an old Taco Bell building, which is how fitting is that? We go from Taco Bell to
no, but this location is terrific, and there's plenty of space to. I've been in. You took me into that store.
Yeah, that's the one where we always have the St. Patty's Parade because we're right there in the heart of Dogtown.
It's a great location.
It is.
Congratulations on all the success, my friend. I mean,
thanks,
you're a good man with a good heart. We appreciate you supporting us as you have to this point. And whatever is going on with Route 66, you guys are doing it well. It's kicking ass. People are jumping in. They're understanding the product a little more too. So we're grateful for you coming in, buddy.
Thanks.
You got plans this weekend? You going to be in town or are you going to be out of town?
Well, I have my traditional every New Year's Eve. I like to, for a few days, I go to Vegas.
Good for you.
And I just I like playing cards. So I'll play a little poker, nothing crazy. So it's not like I'm in some high stake, rounders table, but, have my cigar and come back. I've got a couple things I need to attend to on New Year's Day. So it'll just be a few days, nothing crazy.
By the way, we appreciate you jumping in for us today, bud. We love you. And we thank you for coming in and teaching people about Route 66. Thanks, my man. Too. Have a good day. We'll catch up with him. And we'll get you your video for today, too.
Oh,
I already talked to him, so you can turn that around and promote.
Appreciate it.
Ham Hamra, everybody, from Route 66. 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Again, De Pere, Dogtown, South Grand, St. Peters, Wentzville. And, of course, if you go in and your first product, let them know. You heard them on Cancel This. You can get a discount. Nothing better than getting a discount, especially this time of year. And, of course, you can buy as gifts for other people if you know them as well. It's a terrific idea to go ahead and do that. And if you go to our website at canceltheshow.com under partners, you can get links straight to their website, or you can go check them out at route66cannabis.com. All the addresses to the stores are there as well. As you know from Patrick with Ostara and the rest of the crew that works with Ham, they have terrific sales teams ready to answer all of your questions as well with anything. So once again, we talked with Ham on our Weed Wednesday segment. We do learn everything different every week, don't we?
Yeah, we learn something new every
day, every time, all the time. It is interesting and lots of good questions, and we appreciate people who've used the product. And I know it's not for everybody, but for those people who are into it, thanks for giving us questions. Thanks for getting us all caught up.
This is a bummer that I could not ask Karen's question before Ham left. Is it true you can put it in your belly button and still get the same effects?
No.
I don't know.
Maybe the cream. Maybe there might be something with the cream. Take care of a stomach ache. I don't know.
So what does it go into your stomach? And then that's a funny question.
Lori, I don't know. Maybe if you become really good friends with the people there, they'll give you the discount every time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. We didn't ask.
It's not every time. I learned that the hard way. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the first time.
But I don't know if it's all in the computer system. So if you went to the Wentzville location, go to the St. Peter's location the next time.
Yeah,
well, if he had the cream, I don't know if there'd be anything better for your muscles, THC and CBD, but I use the CBD, and I'm telling you, I'm a believer now. And I use
THC is always going to be better. However, the CBD is going to do it without, it's going to be a little less intense, but it's still going to do the job.
I'm telling you what, I rested it, but I'm telling you, I was resting already. There's no way you go from not even being able to walk last night, literally and it was severe on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd put it at like a 9 or 10. And then all of a sudden you get up the next morning. I'm literally going, what the hell? How did this happen? I iced twice. Yeah, I was sitting down, but it hurt while I was sleeping. Was it the cream all of a sudden working?
I don't know.
Was it loosening up? Because you get inflamed and it takes out the inflammation. That's the whole key where the pain comes.
Right.
Well, I do know that knees are definitely not the quickest healing parts of your body, so I would say that cream had something to do with it.
Yeah, it had to be. And this wasn't a necessarily knee issue, but it's the tendon that goes to the knee, which is the shin.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this stuff is really good. Okay, once again, guys, we just wanted to, Donna says CBD helped her fur baby. I'm glad to hear that. And we appreciate the vagus nerve connects to your belly button.
Oh, see, there you learn.
I don't know, Sarah. Maybe I'll try some today. I'll see if anything happens.
Okay, so Vic is going to go home and put it in his belly button, and then he'll report tomorrow. He can let John Ivy know how that worked too.
Oh my God, no, I'm not transgender, but whatever you guys want to call me, that's fine. I appreciate it. Don't join us tomorrow. Don't forget to join us 8:10.
Yes.
Dr. Mark Kaysen from Cardinal Ritter. Our resident liberal will be in the studio talking with us with his friend. What is his friend's name again? His partner.
I keep drawing a blank. I know the podcast is Blind City.
The Blind City podcast.
Yes.
Dear God, help us tomorrow as we bring them into studio. We'll see where this goes.
Oh my gosh. It could get real ugly real fast. But he keeps wanting on our show. So, the deal was you have to come in the studio so I can bore my eyes into him.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So we got that.
Plus
Lena Ford, not Lita Ford, joining us at 9:00 tomorrow to give us an idea of some of the social, political things that are happening at high schools. Yes. And she attends a public high school, right?
She does. Mm-hmm.
So we're grateful to get a young girl giving us a perspective of what's happening when it comes to politics in the high schools.
Yes.
Those things can happen. I talked to my son who's a sophomore in high school. He's like, Dad, people try to do that stuff. He's like, we know who we are. Mm-hmm. We are who we are, and we just be who we be.
There you go.
Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining us. There's a lot. Yeah, you guys are making some great comments today.
They really are.
Have an awesome day. Enjoy your hump day. We will catch you back here tomorrow for canceltheshow.com. Thank you for all of our support. Thank you for our partners. Check out the canceltheshow.com website, our merch page. Hats, shirts, cups. We've also got the Cancel This Coffee. And if you know of anybody that wants to partner with us, we are grateful for that too when it comes to advertising and or donations. We have a donation page on canceltheshow.com as well. All right. What a great show. We appreciate it. Welcome back in. So we'll just say goodbye for Pro Joe on this December 27th. And Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Thanks to the Strix for coming in today. And thanks for Ham with Route 66 coming in. We will catch up with you guys later. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow.